So now I'm going to delete the spotlight. Now I'm going to show you the other lights. So Shift A, light, and then last one we have an area light, which is also one of my favorites, and it's used a lot in terms of product animation on making realistic lights. Because if I move this up, this shape is actually something that a lot of photographers use as well to light their scenes. So if I move the area light, you can see it casts light right here where the direction is pointing. Now, the great thing about area light is that I can take this and not only move it, but also rotate it like this. So I'm going to press an RX and then rotate it forward. And now I'm going to, for example, place it here and then rotate it forward. Now I'm going to turn up the power. So I'm going to turn this up to something like 100 almost. And now you can see the sharp fall off we get, right? It lights up this area, but it doesn't light up the back area. So the area light also has a bunch of controls and a bunch of use cases. Now, a unique control about the area light is the spread control. So if I take the spread and then turn this down, you can see the area of the area light becomes smaller. So it lights up a smaller area. And it becomes a lot sharper as well. It's pretty much the same as the spotlight effect, right? We did before. But if I turn this all the way up, it's going to light up a larger area and it's going to become a lot softer. You can also increase or decrease the size. Take the size, increase it or decrease it. You can mess around with the Kelvin scale again. So click on temperature, turn this up, turn this down. You can mess around with the power, the exposure, which I usually leave it on. But one more thing you can mess around is with the different shapes. So right now, as you notice, we have a square shape of an area light. But if I go here and click on square, I have a bunch of options. A lot of people like to use the disc, which creates this round shape, and it's very useful in some cases. You can also take this and then turn this into an ellipse, which is the elliptical shape. And if I take this and turn this into a rectangle, I can basically get a rectangle shape. But a great thing about this is that you can mess around with it manually. So if I hover over the area light, I get these corners. I have an option to stretch these corners. So if, for example, hover over it, take this corner, I can either drag it left or right, and then make the area light larger or smaller. And it's going to affect how the light looks. Now, if I take this and stretch this up, it's going to become different as well. Now, if you want to see its effect fully, you don't have to do that, but I'm going to move this up, for example. Now, I'm going to turn off normalize, and you can see what happens. The area light, the reason why it's going to become a lot brighter is because without normalize, the area light strength depends heavily on the size. So if I take the size and then shrink this down, you can see the power becomes smaller. If I shrink this down on the upside as well, on the vertical side, you can see it becomes a lot smaller. But if I take this, stretch this up on all the ways, it becomes a lot sharper, a lot brighter. But we don't really need to do that. What we need to do is turn on normalize. And now if I turn on normalize, it's going to give us better results. And if we change the settings, if we change the size, it's going to affect lighting, but not as much as it would affect without normalize. So I recommend to keep this on and then mess around with it if you want to. I usually like to keep the rectangle or square shape, and sometimes I use ellipse. But again, the light which I use most of the time is the spotlight. And you can actually change the lights here without manually creating them with Shift A. So I can change the spotlight, for example, change to sunlight, or change it to point light. So yeah, those are the 4 main lights which you can mess around with it.